All right, guys, Dr. Manny, developer of the functional practice. In this video, we're talking day 2 report of findings. Now, this is more for a virtual practice. That's how I operate now. It would be different if you're brick and mortar and you were bringing people back in. But the other day, I was talking to a doc, and he was asking me, "What does my day 2 look like?" And I said, "It's a Loom screen share." Very simple, because it's not even a back and forth. I'm not setting up a second call with patients. I do call number 1, and that's me closing that case fee, closing the protocol. The package, whatever you want to call it. And then day 2 is when I get the reports back from the lab, food reports, nutrient reports, which I'm going to get into in this video. I'm going to show you exactly how I interpret that stuff for a patient that I just had earlier in this week. When I get that stuff back from the lab, then I hop on and do a Loom screen share. So if you don't have it, it looks like this, right? So Loom screen share. So it's something that it's a Chrome extension. It allows you to record your screen. And then you just click stop and you take that URL. Loom gives you a link, right? You take that link, send it to your patient. So it's a presentation. It's not a back and forth 30 minutes of, it's 8 minutes, 10 minutes of me sharing my screen, telling them what foods to get rid of, for how long, how to reintroduce the foods back in. We're talking about nutrients, what supplements I'd recommend for them. I show them where to get their supplements, and I'll show you that in just a second. But it's very simple. Very easy. He was worried about just like conflicts of scheduling, day 1s, day 2s, 3s, and follow-ups and all this kind of stuff. For me, it's day 1, day 2 is a recording. They're on their own because I'm virtual. Now they can email me, like this gentleman that I just sent his results early in the week. He's like, "Well, what do I do for butter?" He's had massive dairy reactions, and he's following this ketogenic diet, and so had to work through that. So they'll have questions, but it's very few and far between where somebody's going to keep abusing your email with questions. So anyway, that's how I operate. So if you want to use my labs, by the way, guys, it's Food Line is one lab, right? Food Line. I'm not going to give too much details because just for privacy purposes and patients and whatnot. So Food Line, that's my food lab. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to do a price structure. But if you want to use Food Lab, I also use hair analysis. We have a hair lab. I'm not going to mention the name of that. Message me because we keep it generic. We keep hair lab generic. And I want you guys to be able to charge what you want to charge and profit from the testing. So that's why we've negotiated with the labs, because we do so much volume to give you guys a big volume discount. So if you go straight to the labs, you'll pay a lot more. But if you go through us, it's a lot cheaper because of the volume discount. And we don't want to be undercut, right? And so that's part of my video today is I just want to kind of explain the lab side of things. Is that we have these operations, these brands that sit in front of the lab to prevent undercutting. Because there's a lot of stuff on Amazon, there's stuff on Google and stuff. Great Plains, for example. You can type in Great Plains. I don't want to mention names, but you'll probably find it. Page 1 of Google, 100 and whatever it is, for a food test. And I want you guys to be able to charge what you charge, feel safe, feel comfortable, and not risk being undercut because somebody's got a button on page 1 of Google. Hopefully that makes sense. So not only volume discount, but then also protection from undercutting because we don't allow Amazon and stuff like that. So it's just done through phone consults. I just close case fee over the phone. Very simple. All right, guys, if you have any questions about this stuff, just comment below. I'll reach out to you or message me, and we'll get you more information about the labs if you want to use the labs. Because what I'm going to do now is hop into my report of findings, and then you'll see the labs, and then you'll probably have questions about it. That's why I wanted to kind of explain this. Oh, and then the other thing is hair lab test foods. I get this question probably almost every day. I'm testing foods for finger prick. I'm testing nutrients for hair for nutrients. But the hair lab also tests foods. I disregard that portion of that analysis. So I use this for foods. I use blood for foods, quick finger pricks, simple, easy. But I use hair for nutrients. Hair does look at foods. I disregard that to avoid confusion. Right? I don't want a food report here and a food report here. Again, then the patient starts cross-referencing and why is this over here and this is not over? But I don't want that. I use blood for foods. I use hair for nutrients. So this one I use, and I use it for heavy metals too, heavy metal sensitivity, which I'll talk about in just a bit here. So let's do that, guys. Let's hop into the report of findings and hopefully get you guys squared away in terms of how I interpret these report of findings. Okay. All right, Mike, got your results back from lab here. So let me make you a quick video, kind of walk you through the food testing, how this thing works. I'm going to tell you what foods to get rid of for how long, how to reintroduce them back in, and then we'll go over your nutrient findings, where you're depleted, and then we'll kind of show you how to fill in the gaps there and fix those deficiencies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top and just work my way down. And so, and if you have any questions along the way, you can also just hit reply to this email and we'll get them answered. So now, rule of thumb, the framework that I use is that if I see a food and then the 1s and 2s, I say get rid of that food for at least 3 months. If it's 3s and 4s, get rid of that food for at least 6 months. Okay, these are fine. Okay, so if I'm looking at dairy, we got some 2s, and whey is squeaking into 3 here. So I'm going to say we're going to go dairy free. Okay, dairy free in this case. If I see a big spike to whey protein, that's going to spill into a lot of these other forms of dairy. So even if I see a big spike to whey, I'm going to get rid of anything and everything that looks like dairy. So dairy. So and now we reacted to almonds down here. Coconut, you're fine. So if you need some form of milk, it's going to be coconut milk. We have a lot of grain reaction too. So rice, I would not do white rice, or I would not do rice milk. So I would do coconut milk in this case. So yeah, so far we're dairy free. I mean, you're gluten free as well. I mean, we see gluten, we see wheat, barley a little bit there. So ideally you're dairy free, you're gluten free. Corn would be fine, although it's not a healthy thing to begin with because it spikes blood sugar. But some of these other things you're going to lean more on. Now, I tell patients, take the list that's in your book and start crossing off the culprits so that you're left with a sample, like a master food list. So focus on what you can have. Don't focus on what you can't have. Glass is half full, right? So focus on all the foods that you can have. Don't worry about, oh my gosh, I'm dairy free, I'm gluten free. There's entire sections of a grocery store that are gluten free, so there are options. I would not do peanuts. I would do different type. I would do cashews and stuff like that. Peanuts are moldy, biotoxin. You're not going to find that on my list anyway. So pecans probably fine there. So if it's just squeaking over the line here, if this is the ones, if it's just squeaking over the line, probably fine in moderation. If you have to have lima beans once a week, probably not the end of the world. But for sure, you're going to try and get rid of chestnuts, chickpeas, gluten. You're going to be gluten-free, oats, get rid of oatmeal and this kind of stuff. So grains, it's common. It's about 40%. Country's gluten intolerant, so you're not alone. Vegetables, asparagus has to go. Broccoli has to go. I know it's a weird one. What doctor tells their patient they have to get rid of broccoli? Well, I guess I do. So asparagus has to go. Avocado, if you have to have one a week, probably not going to kill you. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, that's got to go though. Cabbage, I would get rid of. Cauliflowers, garlic, and then sweet potatoes, tomatoes. Sweet potatoes going to spill into yams and pumpkins a little bit there too, but I would not do yams or sweet potatoes because we got a reaction there. So onions probably fine. Again, if it's just over the line, probably not going to do too much damage. So fish, clams got to go. Crab and lobster, just get rid of those 3. Cod too. Probably not a bad idea to get rid of cod and just lean more on this other stuff, these other forms of fish if you eat fish. So scrolling down some more. Beef has to go, or yeah, for sure it has to go. So again, 1s and 2s, 3 months, 3s and 4s, 6 months. Okay, so eggs, I would back off on eggs as well. So you're gonna consume more chicken, lamb. If you can do that, it's fine. Pork and turkey I would back off on turkey too, because it's sometimes what I do is I take this one and I draw a line, a hypothetical line right in so if it's a high one, for sure I'd get rid of it. But if it's a low one, you could probably be fine with it. So pork would be fine. Turkey is kind of borderline. I'd probably get rid of it. So ginger has to go. Oregano has to go. Miscellaneous stuff, coffee, that's a no-no. So again, I don't need to sit and read to you, but if we got some spikes, it means your body has antibodies to that food. Your body's looking at these foods like they're foreign invaders. Like these are foreign, like bananas. Get rid of bananas. Get rid of blueberries, cranberries. Now, snapshot in time. This is not a permanent test. Just because somebody reacts to bananas like this today doesn't mean it's going to be like that in 6 months. Your body's always changing, healing, adapting, and regenerating. Snapshot in time. It's like an x-ray. If I take an x-ray now and I take an x-ray in 6 months, it's probably going to be a little bit different if I do some measurements on it, right? So same idea here. Bananas have to go, blueberries, but over time, let's hopefully reduce inflammation. Remember the three main reasons why we test. One, it reduces inflammation. Number two, it gives the gut a break. Number three, it gives the immune system a break. When we test, we're testing the IgG portion of your immune system. This is the delayed immune response. This is the 10 to 12 hours, sometimes up to 3 days later, you have a migraine headache, you have no idea why. Right? That's the time gap is simply too much to do any sort of elimination diet. That's why we objectively test. Pineapple has to go. Some of these other ones, grape would probably be eliminated. Obviously, blueberries, cranberries, grapefruit probably fine. Lemon's fine. Orange is fine. So citrus type stuff, okay there, but pineapple has to go. So again, you know how to read this thing. I'll let you interpret it. Again, just take it to your master food list, start crossing off the culprits, and just focus on creating a master food list that is acceptable to you. Okay, Candida. Now this is a Candida screening. It's not a definitive diagnosis. It tells me that your body has antibodies to Candida. It's not a active infection. It's not a sign of an active infection. It's not, Candida cleanse is no fun. It's no sugar. It's nothing that turns to sugar, and it's some harsh supplements that are no fun. So I just usually put that on the back burner with most patients, and just it's there, but I don't put too much stock in it. So I just worry more about let's fix the gut, let's reduce inflammation, let's give your immune system a break. That's the main focus here. So and then the page 3 here is just how things were charted out in terms of lab stuff. So let's pop on over your nutrient findings and see what's going on over here. So we have biotin, copper, glutamine, which is good for gut health. So if I'm trying to fix, is this a sign of, is this leaky gut? Maybe, I don't know. It's the test for leaky gut is zonulin and may or may not show up. But the thing is, if I see 50, 60 foods, and there's a lot of foods that's dairy-free, gluten-free, egg-free, and that's a ton of big spikes, like 3s and 4s, like a lot of 3s and 4s, I would say let's get you on a leaky gut protocol, which would include like glutamine. So in this case, not a bad idea because you're deficient in glutamine, let's get you on it. Biotin, copper, lithium. So I just look at these nutrients, and what are some symptoms of that nutrient. So like if you have hair loss, dry skin, cracking in the corner of the mouth, fatigue and depression, that's a sign of biotin deficiency. So for sure, if you have these symptoms and we have a deficiency based on the lab, then I would say, hey, get on biotin or eat more of these foods if you're not sensitive to it, right? Almonds, artichoke, avocado. So we're sensitive to bananas and almonds and some of these things. So eat more of the foods or supplement. So that's the idea here. So copper, I'm not going to worry too much about that one. You can go eat more kale and mushrooms to push your copper levels in a more optimal direction. Cashews. Again, just look at the symptoms of a deficiency, and then see if, hey, do I want to eat more of these foods, or should I go supplement accordingly? So again, glutamine, good for gut health, weight loss, gut changes, energy levels. So glutamine is a great supplement just in general because it's good for gut health. So I'm going to say for sure get on glutamine. Magnesium, again, a lot of benefits to magnesium. It's a muscle relaxer. Helps you sleep better. Gut function, all kinds of stuff. But if you have any of these symptoms, cramps, tremors, nausea, blood pressure issues, for sure get on some magnesium. I generally start patients about 400 milligrams of magnesium, and I'll show you where I get this stuff in just a little bit here. But B12, not a bad idea. Get on some B12, especially if you have a lot of stress. Stress wrecks your B vitamin status. So the people that have stress, a lot of times they have certain cravings to sugar, like pop, Jolly Rancher, Skittles, Dots, and so it's oftentimes the people that have nutrient deficiencies, they have cravings. So stress wrecks your B vitamin status. B vitamin deficiencies lead to cravings. So B vitamins for sure. Symptoms: tired, lethargic. So B complex or straight up B12. It's good for a lot of people. It's water soluble. Whatever you don't use, your body flushes it away. So that's where we're at in terms of a nutrient. So for sure, I would say glutamine, magnesium, and B12 for sure as the top 3. If you want to do biotin, you can do biotin as well. General rule of thumb too, I kind of have a more of a standard, structured, rigid, where if you're in Minnesota, I would say get on a vitamin D, get on about 5,000. I use a vitamin D, and I would get on a solid probiotic as well. Probiotic, vitamin D in conjunction, and omegas too. Omegas are a good one too if you want to do essential fatty acids. So those are kind of my big three. Like everybody should be taking that stuff in conjunction with, hey, where are we deficient, which would be biotin, glutamine, magnesium, and B12. So that would be my protocol for you. In terms of where to get this stuff, if you go to advantageformulas.com, so the link is advantageformulas.com, then you can just enter your information, just create yourself an account here. The thing about supplementation is that the FDA does not regulate supplement industry, so it is very, very important to get from a good company. You cannot get from, Walmart or Walgreens or some of these stuff. They're full of fillers and toxins and weird stuff that's not going to push the needle in the right direction. I can't tell you how many people I've sat in front of. They dump a duffel bag full of pills on my desk, and we test, and they're deficient in the stuff they're actually taking. So I tell them, the most expensive vitamin is the one that doesn't work. So the most expensive vitamin is the one that doesn't work. And also the most expensive vitamin is the one you don't need, based on the test. I was like, why do you take that? Well, I saw it on Facebook and I heard it helps with XYZ symptom. Well, maybe not, right? So I found that's very, very good, very, very important to test. So test, where are we deficient? Where are we depleted? Let's fill in the gaps in conjunction with, hey, let's get you on a good vitamin D, which most people are deficient, omegas, and probiotic for gut health. Okay, so advantageformulas.com. That's where you can set up. This is Zymogen. This is where we get out most of our products from. Highly, a lot of their products have patents, so very high-end stuff. It's not, and you're not going to pay any more. Really, it's very, very affordable stuff. So you're not going to pay any more, but it's really high-end stuff that's going to really push your levels, your nutrient levels in a more optimal direction. So with that said, if you have any questions, feel free to hit reply. That's what we're looking at. What I'll do is I'll attach these reports to the email as well, so you have records for your file, your records. So, and like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Do you see how simple that is? Right, very, very easy. Was it maybe 10, 12 minutes? What I didn't mention though early on is that on my day one, after I take their, after I close them on that very first phone call, then I send them the book in the mail. So I have the test kits, right? Foods, nutrients, blood, hair. I send them it's a box. I have like a, 11 by 13, 11 by 12 box. And then my book goes in this as well. This is all part of Inner Circle stuff. I'll put information about Inner Circle in the description beneath this video. But this has their journal within it. It has their food list within it. It has 10 secrets that I use with patients. Intermittent fasting, drinking lots of water, minimizing toxins. It has a list of toxins in this thing. High fructose corn syrup, preservatives, nitrates, MSG, trans fats, colors, dyes. It has hidden sugars to watch out for. There's so many different names of sugar that, it's all for market, all about marketing. And so they changed the name of the stuff: tapioca, lactose, malt syrup, sucrose, honey. You get the idea here. So, and I give them the sugar alternatives. You can see here I talk a lot about this bugger. We gotta avoid this stuff. So anyway, it's part of my book and it's what I give patients. It's a tool. It's an amazing tool. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions, as always, comment below, and I will see you next time.